Hey everybody, welcome to the video. Firstly, thank you for watching. Secondly, I'd like to apologise for the way I look at the moment. I don't look my best, I appreciate that, but today is not really a very good day. To be honest, this month isn't a very good month, but my family think it's a good idea for me to share my story with everybody, even if it's just to help me sort of get off my chest what I need to get off my chest. And maybe my story might help others, or even just raise the awareness of endometriosis. So, all started in 2012. In March 2012, I started at my course at university. I was training to be a student nurse, children's nursing in particular. It's what I've always wanted to do, and I loved it. I managed to get onto the wards and worked my butt off. Absolutely loved it, but I suddenly became quite poorly. It started off with a chest infection, believe it or not. I ended up having a week off of uni on antibiotics, and because obviously can't go onto the wards and spread my chest infection to all the little kiddies on there, so ended up having a week off uni. Got rid of the chest infection, but it turned out I had the chest infection had triggered asthma to start, so I was then diagnosed with asthma. During all this time I was having sort of really bad breathing difficulties and being admitted to hospital for asthma attacks and things like that. I started to get this pain in my lower back, which I did sort of voice to all the nurses and doctors, but at the time my breathing was the main concern. So once all that was over and dealt with, I went to my doctor and said, I've got this horrible pain, I can't get rid of it, it won't go away. No matter what I do, no matter what meds I take, it's just not helping me. It won't go. So he sort of examined me and said, well, I don't know what it is, basically go to A&E, or just carry on, take the tablets and see if it goes away in a little while. So I waited a little while, and eventually my mum said, well, let's go to A&E and get you checked over, because it just wasn't going, it wasn't getting any better. In fact, it's actually getting worse for me. So we went to A&E, so got admitted to hospital, stayed there for a week or so, then got sent home because they didn't know what was wrong with me. About a week or two later, my dad sort of made an emergency appointment with my doctor, because I was having really bad pain. It was making me cry. I could barely stand, I could barely walk. My whole body was trembling, and my doctor feared that it was kidney stones. So went back to A&E because my doctor sort of told me if I don't go on my own, he's going to phone the ambulance. So my dad drove me to A&E. I was there again for a couple of weeks, on a surgical ward where they were sort of keeping an eye out for kidney stones. I had several sort of tests, CT scans and things like that, ultrasound scans, but eventually they said, we can't see anything, we don't think you've got kidney stones, so we're going to discharge you. So I was discharged again, went back to my GP about a week or two later because I was still in quite a bit of pain. Again, he said, well, I'll just give you some more pain relief. I was in and out of hospital for a while. I even ended up on a surgical unit one time, and the doctor discharged me saying he doesn't know what's wrong with me and hopefully it'll just go away on its own, which I found quite odd, for a doctor to do that, but I suppose if they don't know what's wrong with you, they don't know what's wrong with you. So Yeah, unfortunately I did have to give up my place on university. I deferred it for a year actually, hoping I'd be able to go back a year later, because my health was so bad. I couldn't be in university because the pain sort of made me collapse. It was too dangerous for me to drive there because I was on morphine tablets. So roughly around December time, I went to my doctor and said, listen, I'm in a lot of pain. I need to be seen by somebody. It's not going away. I've lost my place at university. What am I supposed to do? So he gave me some. It was quite close to Christmas at this time, so he said he'll give me some pain relief and see how we'll go over Christmas and New Year, and come back to me in the new year, and we'll see how you are and if we need to do a referral. So January time I went back. My doctor wasn't actually in, so I saw this new doctor. She was just a stand-in for a week or something like that for my doctor. My mum came with me. After telling her everything that's been going on, obviously she was a new doctor, she didn't know anything about my history. Told her everything, and she just sort of quite quickly during the consultation said, has anybody ever sort of suggested endometriosis? So I was like, no, I've never even heard of it. So she went on to sort of say what it was and what some of the symptoms were, and all the symptoms she was saying are what I had. I had sort of severe pain. It got a lot worse around the time of the month. I was exhausted constantly. I was nauseous, losing weight, and so on. So she took some swabs and examined me, and to make sure there was nothing wrong in that area. Everything was normal. So I went back to her a week later after she got the results, and she said, right, but I'm going to refer you to a gynecologist, a sort of a specialist in the endometriosis area. So she did that. The referral took quite a while, as it does. So June time, I went to see the consultant, and I didn't see her. I saw a member of her team, and again went over my history or everything like that, and he said, yeah, it does sound like endometriosis. So they put me forward for a laparoscopy, and that was it was supposed to be in August, and it was supposed to be sort of September. Got cancelled a few times, but I eventually had it in September. And in December I went back to see them after I had it, and I hadn't had any sort of relief or anything like that, but during the operation they said they found some pelvic sidewall scarring. Well, that's what it said on my discharge sheet anyway. But they said they couldn't see any endometriosis, but that's the bit that they took the biopsy from, was clean. So she said it doesn't mean that you don't have it, it just means that the bit that we took and we sampled didn't have any in it. So I was like, okay, so it doesn't mean I don't have it then. So she sort of suggested then for me to go on this Marvelon birth control pill, which made it so that my periods only come every 3 months, therefore helping ease the pain and ease how often I'm getting it. Unfortunately, this didn't really help all that much. It helped a little because obviously I wasn't every month having the severe pain, but it was still bad. I was on a birth control pill before that anyway. One of the main sort of not treatments, oh yeah, treatments for endometriosis is to be put on a pill because it's supposed to help stop the hormones that make the endometriosis sort of grow and spread from being sort of put into your system. So anyway, I went on that. It didn't really help. I went back 3 months later again, and I saw this male doctor who, I'll be honest with you, I thought was very rude. He was a very obnoxious man. I really didn't like him at all. The first thing, when I went in, he said, what can I do for you? I said, well, the pain's no better. We need to figure out what the next step is going to be. So he looked through the file and said, but there's nothing wrong with you. It kind of shocked me a bit, but I was like, okay. So I explained to him that she said, although there's no endo in that bit that she took, there's still a possibility for endo. But he was still adamant there's nothing wrong with you. So, to be honest, he had me in tears in that consultation. But he was very rude. My mum was sat with me through that, and she wasn't happy with the way he treated us, basically. So eventually he sort of suggested to go on this injection, which I did. I had it for 3 months. That didn't really help either. I didn't see any benefit from it. My GP noticed no benefit from it either. So again, I went back. Luckily I saw a different person this time. I've never actually seen the actual doctor, the actual name doctor I'm supposed to have, but I saw another one who, she said, right, if nothing else has worked, we're going to have to put you in for another lap and have another look around. So she did that. Several months later, this is now December 2014 time. And I came around from surgery. She came up to me and said, we didn't see anything, you don't have endometriosis. The words on the form in particular were, no endometriosis found, uterus, ovaries all look normal and fine. I'm telling you that for a reason, and you'll find out soon. So she basically said, right, that's it now, we're going to discharge you back to your GP because we've done all we could do, you don't have endometriosis. So we're going to discharge you and get your doctor to refer you to a pain management team. They did give me some tablets to take away with me, which admittedly did help in the beginning, not so much now. But they don't really work, to be honest with you. So, well, that was kind of that then. My GP sort of carried on giving me these tablets. I was supposed to take them for 3 months. So sort of New Year's time, January, went back to my GP. He said, right, we're going to put this referral forward for the pain management team. So I said, yeah, okay then. And he said, well, I'm going to continue these tablets for you because they do seem to give you some mild benefit. So I continued with them as well. In April time, I got a phone call from my mum saying, don't be mad, but me and your dad have discussed this and it's non-negotiable. We've booked you in to see a private consultant in endometriosis. And I was like, oh my god, you shouldn't have done that, it's a waste of money. I've had 2 laparoscopies before, both like declining, denying any sort of endometriosis. So I just thought, it's a waste of money, it's a stupid thing to do, it's a waste of money. How wrong was I? Saying your mother's always right is in my mind at the moment. So I went to see Mr. Trahan. who at the appointment, I must admit, when I first saw him I thought he was a bit rude. During the consultation he said a few remarks which I wasn't happy with, but obviously, as you'd expect, he was quite skeptical of me having endometriosis. Obviously, I've had 2 previous labs that were both negative, so I can understand why he was the way he was, but in the end he said there's no way I can tell if you have it or not without looking with my own eyes. So we kind of all agreed that he's going to do this laparoscopy. So on 1st of May, down I went. He was there. He did the surgery. He's quite a lovely man, actually, on reflection. I must admit, the way he's treated, apart from that first initial consultation with him, after that he's the loveliest man you could meet. He really is. He's a really good doctor. I know I've had 2 previous operations before, but I'm so scared when I go down for them operations. My heart is beating in my chest. I can feel it like thumping hard. So he was really lovely. He held my hand while I got put to sleep, which was really nice of him. When I came round, he was there, which I've never had that before from a doctor. It was quite nice. And he said, don't worry, you're okay. I'm going to come and see you soon. And sort of I went back to sleep, sort of thing, because I'd only just woke up. I was still quite out of it, to be honest. So after a while I came round, sort of had my toast and my glass of water, and he came back to see us, and the first thing he said is, you do have endometriosis, which I didn't really hear much after that because I just burst into tears. My mum was just hugging me. My eyes were so red and watery. I've been in pain for 3 years, had 2 other operations, both saying there's nothing wrong with you. I've had doctors telling me it's in your head. It's to be told that there is something wrong with you, and that other people have missed it, other people have failed to see that. I don't understand it personally, but he did, and I cried my eyes out. I'll be honest, I did. I cried my eyes out. Because the worst thing about having an illness, being in pain constantly 24/7, is awful, and to not know that what's causing it is even worse. Especially when people are saying it's in your head. It wasn't a nice feeling at all. It really wasn't. So we went to see him about a week after the operation, for the follow-up consultation, where I found out that I have the endometriosis. Also, the endometriosis had been growing inside my uterus, which has caused adenomyosis. And my uterus is tilted backwards towards my spine, which apparently is causing me a lot of the discomfort. One of my ovaries is trapped between my spine and my bowel, also causing more discomfort. But because of the adenomyosis and obviously the endometriosis growing in there causing that, my uterus is now the same size as one that's 10 weeks pregnant, but without the pregnancy. And unfortunately, the term is bulky, which is quite weird. It's supposed to be 10 cents. It's supposed to be 7 centimeters. Mine's 10 centimeters. Which again, the last operation I had, where they said they saw nothing, was only 5 months prior to this operation. 5 months. At that consultation with my doctor, I asked him, is there any way all this has happened within the 5 months? Could this have been spotted and treated during my last laparoscopy? And he said yes. That to me hurt me, to be honest, hurt me a lot. But it also sort of made me think, it made me happy as well, in a way, because it made me think that it's not in my head. I'm not the one that's in the wrong, they are. I've not wasted their time, do you know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I mean, but like previously I thought I wasted their time because there was nothing wrong with me. Whereas now that I know there was something wrong with me, I feel more sort of more aware of myself, more aware of my body. So unfortunately I'm never going to be pain free until I have a hysterectomy, which for a 23-year-old girl to hear who hasn't even started her family, it's quite hard. It is really quite hard. But yeah, so I'm never going to be pain free until I have the hysterectomy. But there's an operation he can do to help me and to help me get some kind of quality of life back. It's going to cost £15,000, which is a lot of money. My mum at the moment, she's a fantastic lady. She's, obviously we're all going to say that about our mums, but she's been fundraising like crazy. She's been doing car boot sales. She's been selling things. Anything that isn't nailed down to the floor, she's, can I sell this, Joe? Can I sell that? She's amazing. To be honest, this condition, feeling like this, not being able to leave my house on my own, not being able to do anything. I'm on morphine, I'm on tramadol, really sort of high medications. Even they don't control my pain. I still collapse in pain just walking to the bathroom. I have no energy. Before we saw Mr. Trahan, I told my mum, I have no hope of ever being better. All hope is gone. I have none left. I've got nothing left in me to give to anybody. And I can say, even now with a diagnosis, I am not the woman I was when I started my nursing degree. I've lost half of me. I've lost hope. And it doesn't feel good. But anyway, endometriosis. They say don't let your illness define who you are, but when you're in pain, the pain, constant pain, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it takes it out of you, it really does. I hardly have any energy. I really don't. And to be honest, this illness is defining me. It's defeating me as well. It's taken a lot of me away. I used to be quite a confident person. Now I'm not. I used to love sort of, like, I like to play on the Xbox. I used to like just having the microphone on and talking to strangers, meeting new people on the Xbox who like similar things like me. But I don't do that anymore because I've lost confidence in myself. Even though I have such a strong network, a strong supportive family, I still feel all alone. And that's the hardest part. Being in pain constantly. Every night at least. Twice. I'll wake up in pain. Crying my eyes out. Until it passes. And then I'll pass out because I'm exhausted. Because I can barely sleep from it. I've not seen my nana in ages because I can't get out of the house. I can't go out on my own. I have to have somebody with me. It's awful. I can't. I hate living like this. I do. But that's my story. Please have a look at endometriosis, see what it is. If you have any friends, any family who have any of the symptoms or something like that, tell them. Go and get it checked out. Ask them if it could be this. And if someone says to you it's in your head, say, well, it might not be. You might not be good enough to see it. I've had 2 surgeons look inside me. 3 surgeons look inside me. 2 of them said no. But they weren't Mr. Trahan. Mr. Trahan is one of the best endometriosis surgeons in the UK. He specialises in it, but although he specialises in it, the surgeons I saw previously, they were supposed to also be the best in the Northwest. I can tell you they weren't the best. Not for me anyway. For me, they told me everything was fine. 5 months ago, everything was fine. Everything looked normal. Now, my chances of having my own baby are almost 0. Anyway, thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps some of you. My mum has set up a website. I'll put the link in the video and in the description. And thank you for listening to my story. I hope you can take something away from it. Maybe learn to not give up hope. Although I have, doesn't mean you have to. Doesn't mean that your surgeon is wrong. There could be something wrong with you, basically. If there was something wrong with me, they just missed it. I don't know why, don't know how, but they did. So don't give up hope. If you're still ill and they're still sort of denying you any sort of treatment, keep going back to them. Someone will eventually find out what's wrong with you. Unfortunately, it just takes time. And with endometriosis being such a condition, it's not widely known. Not many people know what it is. Most people think it's just bad periods, which is totally not the case at all. Well, it kind of is. Well, think of it this way, endometriosis, every month us women with endometriosis have internal bleeding. That's not just a bad period, and it's really painful and debilitating. So yeah, any ladies out there who have endometriosis or who think they might have it, don't give up hope. Try, and it's hard, I know myself it's hard, but try not to lose sight of what could be. Okay? Thank you for listening. I hope you have a lovely day. Take care. Please like and share this video. And thank you.